Hello and welcome back to the Ambassadors of Gaming. I'm one in your army of hosts, Ambassador Michael, and today I'm going to discuss with you another game that we didn't get a chance to review, so it's one of the best games of the generation. We are handpicking some of the best games in the lead up to the fall 2020 of next gen, and kind of documenting some stuff we didn't get a chance to go over, more in-depth look at some of the games that came out throughout the generation. Today's game is Nioh, the samurai Dark Souls-esque type game released in 2017 for the PlayStation 4 and Windows. The game was developed by Team Ninja and published out by Koei Tecmo in Japan, and then Koei Tecmo also published it on Windows, but Sony published it worldwide on PS4, bringing it to Europe and PS4. So this game is a little bit different because it had originally started as a PlayStation 3 game and kind of fell apart, was reintroduced in 2014 as a PS4 game, and then eventually released in 2017. So the game is a little bit different because it focuses on yokai and Japanese culture, and Dark Souls has a very specific way that combat flows, and it's based mostly on the weaponry that you use. Nioh also kind of follows that format, but it also provides stances, a high, middle, and low stance. And those stances provide different ways that each weapon does combat. So a high stance is more of a heavy attack style, a low stance is more of a quick attack style, and the medium is kind of more of a balanced attack style. And so this provided a not only a new sort of way to deal with the combat in a Dark Souls-like game, but also allowing it to differentiate itself enough where it's like, okay, it's not just parry and dodge. You also have to consider how you're going to attack with the weaponry that you use and you choose to use. You can also quick swap weapons as well. And so the reason why I think this is one of the best games of the generation is because for me, it provided that RPG type feel, that nitty gritty, okay, I worry about my stats and what weapon I'm going to use and what kind of spirit I'm going to use to emphasize these different stats and kind of combo off each other. And it also gave me really hard combat that I thought for the most part was fair versus Dark Souls-esque kind of games, Bloodborne and even Sekiro, where they're just like, they're more live by example or learn by example, where you'll walk in a room and you'll just get bodied one hit KO the first time you go in there because there's no way you could know that an enemy's about to chop your head off. Versus this game that's a little bit more lenient. That still happens. That stuff I feel is still possible. But I feel that there was more give. It definitely felt like there was more possibilities for you to pick up on what was about to happen and prevent yourself from being damaged if you were paying enough attention. If you're not paying attention during this game, you're going to suffer a lot of damage. You're going to have a hard time. And honestly, it's one of those things where you really need to pay attention. You need to focus on what you're doing and think about how you're going to go about combat. And that's what I really loved about it. Now, again, my bias comes from, I love the fact that it's set in Japanese culture and there's a lot of interactions with people who are Japanese. It's in feudal Japan, so there's dealing with a lot of stuff like that, and also dealing with supernatural elements. So you're dealing with people and demons and all this kind of stuff, and it's just really well put together. The map layouts are really great. They're really well done. They're really well thought out. They're not connected, if I can recall correctly, like Dark Souls is. It's not one big map. You can't just run across the whole map. You go, you play the map, you fight a boss, there's a cutscene, you go to a new area. Which I thought was better because I liked being able to navigate to certain areas on a map and it kind of giving you an idea of what's what and where you're going, and there's secret areas and all this kind of stuff. All the kind of stuff you'd expect from a game just like that. But it felt like the first real variant, and that's why I love it so much. And I'm really excited for its sequel, and that's why we're putting this out right before the time of the sequel coming out on PS4. And I assume it's coming to Windows as well. But they nailed their own variation of this, made it unique. It's really fun, it's really cool, it's really atmospheric, and I really think it's worthwhile for you guys to check out. As you've seen from the footage here, I played a little bit and I was hooked immediately as I got back into it, and I was like, man, I forgot how good this feels to play. They just nailed the way the combat is. It feels really fun and good to play, and my muscle memory came back pretty quickly, honestly, from playing it the last time, because I had almost beaten it, but I had put it down near the end because I was having difficulties. Just like with Bloodborne, I got to literally the last boss, and I was just like, no, I can't anymore. I want to play something else. And so I never ended up finishing the game. But I believe it was on my Game of the Year list that year as well. It's a fun and unique title, and I really think it's worth your time to play. It's super cheap now that it's so old. I think it actually came out digitally free as well on PlayStation Plus at one point, but I could be wrong about that. But it's definitely worth the price now. I haven't played any of the DLC, so I can't speak to that. But it's definitely should be on your radar. I would definitely say check it out before you play Nioh 2, so you can see if there's significant differences. Obviously, we're recording this before it comes out, so there's a major difference in gameplay there, but I'm interested to see how different these two games are. And so maybe Nioh 2 will also join as one of the best games of the generation. We'll just have to wait and see. Please let us know what you've thought about Nioh if you've played it. If you haven't played it, let us know if you're willing to pick it up and try it out because of the video. We'd love to hear from you guys, what you're playing, what you're thinking, some of the best games of the generation for you. If you agree, disagree. As always, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff is super, super helpful. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. And we also have a Patreon if you want to support us monetarily. I'm not going to get into that too much. You can go over there and check it out for yourself. It's pretty simplistic. We reorganized everything this year. So until next time, friends, I'm Ambassador Michael. Thank you so much for your time.